plant-based on a budget. Number one thing you could do to help put money back in your pocket, stop eating out, okay? Or at least eat out less. So instead of making a meatless Monday, you need to make it one day a week or twice a week where you eat out. The rest of the days you're preparing your own food. I had to learn this for myself personally at the beginning of my journey, because at the beginning of my journey, I was always thinking, well, I don't have time to make my own food. And so I started making my own recipes, looking up recipes all the time on the internet. And I discovered that the really cool thing about getting into the kitchen is that you learn that you can make food. And making your own food is an act of self-love, in my opinion. I have a recipe book out. You definitely can check that out. It's Dr. Bobby's Healing Recipes and Remedies. So make sure you check that out. Number two, and this is a really, really good one. When you go into the supermarket or the farmer's market, shop for meals, not ingredients. I'm gonna make it clear what I mean by that. Most of the time people go to shop for their food, they don't go with a plan. They don't know what meals they're having for the week. And so they go in there just grabbing things. And by the time they get to the cash register, they have grabbed virtually all of the things that were eye-popping to their eyes. And I'll tell you, most people when they go to the grocery store, well, let me give you this tip. Don't go to the grocery store hungry. If you go to the grocery store hungry, you're going to overspend. And you do not want to overspend when it comes to going to the supermarkets, because what you're gonna experience when you buy ingredients instead of shopping for meals is that you're gonna realize you got a whole bunch of A and C, but no A and B, things that actually go together and make a meal. Number three is buy staple items in bulk. Anything like quinoa, chickpeas, avocado oil, spelt flour, nuts and seeds, tahini. These things last longer, so they're called staple items. These staple items, I buy them in bulk because they'll last longer than fruits and vegetables. So I buy them in bulk so they last a little bit longer. And the cool thing is when you buy things in bulk, you get a cheaper price. Number four, shop at the farmer's market. Most of my shopping is at the farmer's market. When I say I eat plant-based, I eat whole foods plant-based, meaning most of my meals are one ingredient. What I mean by that is I have quinoa on my plate, then I'll have some oyster mushrooms here that I cooked up real nice. Then I have some avocado. Then I have some stir-fried vegetables, some onions, green peppers, red peppers, etc. Then I might have some chickpeas on there as well. And so that's what I mean. I have a whole plate that's full, but all of them are literally like one ingredient. And then you add in the spices and the seasoning, voila, I got a whole foods plant-based meal. But all of that, I could buy all of that. Even the staple items, I can buy that at the farmer's market. And the cool thing about the farmer's market is they're gonna be cheaper than a regular supermarket. The supermarkets tend to put a tag on it. And the other thing I really like about the farmer's market is typically they will have more choices for organic. And I tend to buy mostly everything organic. That's what I love about shopping at the farmer's market. You're gonna save a little bit more money because the farmer's market typically are shopping from local farmers. So local farmers is gonna be more fresh as opposed to something that came from Mexico. I may be able to get my kale, okay? And it came from 10 miles away. Number five, and I mentioned this one earlier, get recipe books. I got maybe 7 or 8 of these. This is my recipe book. You can find on my website, drbobbyprice.com. Even if you don't get mine, you get another one. The cool thing is use a cookbook to get inspired about making your own food. Because as I said, number one, you gotta make your own food and stop eating out if you wanna save money. Number 6, grow your own food. I know a lot of people are like, well, I live in an apartment where you can have literally herbs growing on the shelf in your window. Maybe you got a window that is in your bedroom. Maybe you got a window in your kitchen and you can have herb shelf at the window. So you can always grow your food even if you don't have a yard. Growing your own food is like printing your own money. Number 7, and this is really important, how you save money is eat foods that are high in fiber and nutrient dense. The more healthier foods you eat, that's why I have these dandelion greens. I eat a lot of nutrient dense food like dandelion greens, like sea moss, things of that nature. And the reason why I eat them is because they give me so much nutrients in a small amount of food that makes my body say, you're full. So I end up eating less. But eating less doesn't mean that as a result of eating less, I don't get nourished, because the nourishment is literally the vitamins, the minerals, the trace elements, the amino acids, the healthy fats. And you can get all of those things from plants. Even protein, you can get that from plants. Think about it for a second. Some of the strongest animals in the world: gorillas, rhinos, elephants, an ox. I can go on and on. Some of the strongest animals in the world do not eat meat. Most of the meat that people eat, cows, pigs, chickens, lambs, do not eat meat. So if they can get their nourishment from plants, we can get our nourishment from plants too. And the more nourishment we get in a smaller amount of food, eating more nutrient dense food that has more fiber, more nutrients in it, the less we're gonna eat, because that fiber, those nutrients are gonna tell us we full, because we actually are. In Japan, Okinawa, when I lived there, they had a saying, harahachibu. Harahachibu means eat only to 80%. Don't eat to full, eat to 80%. It makes sense because our brains have a 20% lag time, which means that when we get to 80%, we're actually full.